Hi there, I am okro and this is 1Q Food Platter. Today I'm going up north and I'm making that soup which if you don't have time on your hands, you can fix together in just a few minutes. What you need is kuka. And what is kuka? Kuka is the leaves of Boabab trees. And you find this mainly in the north. But guess what? Anywhere in Nigeria where you have Hausa settlements, you would find kuka. So today we're making Miyan Kuka. The ingredients we need are, of course, kuka. And usually this is how you find it in the market. It's a green powder. And when we cook it, you'll be asking yourself, are we cooking ogbono or are we cooking dry okro? So that's the kind of consistency that you have from kuka. It's pretty viscous. You also need, of course, some protein, and that would be fish. But I guess you can use anything, but in the main, smoked fish would do for this dish. We need some onion. We need some garlic, minced garlic. And we have ginger, powdered ginger. I make this at home. All I do is I slice the ginger, put in a dehydrator. Once it's dry, I grind into powder and I leave this in my fridge to use. Saves me a lot of time. Of course, we need some seasoning, some salt. My own twist is the addition of crayfish. I believe crayfish brings, additional flavor to this dish. And besides, that's the way I have, been cooking it, and it turns out quite well. We need some oil, some dry pepper. You can actually use fresh pepper, but dry pepper is fine. You also do need dadawa. For most times, I actually miss out using dadawa, but if you want that additional flavor, just like iru that you find in the southwest or the ogiri you find in the east, is the same function dadawa performs. It's fermented. Oof, quite strong on the hand, but trust me, once it gets into the soup, it mixes with the soup and adds its flavor to the soup. So what else? We need water. I'll come back to this, this nice contraption that the Hausa lady has just found, her own whisk, and this is how she goes when she's making her, Miyan Kuka. I've tried using this a couple of times. It does not whisk as quickly as I want, or does not disintegrate the kuka as quickly as I want. So for me, I'm always using the whisk, the regular whisk, to get things going quickly. But this is what is used normally. So let's get started. So place the pot on the fire and we'll heat up some oil. Okay, I'll just allow that to dry a bit since I had rinsed it before now. So what we're doing is to heat up some oil, some palm oil. And it's interesting, talking about palm oil, people always demonize palm oil. But for me, it's about what quantity do you use per time in your cooking. You also don't want the oil to float all over the place. I mean, oil is fat, so you want to minimize the use of, oil in your cooking. But palm oil has vitamin A. Did you know that? Because of the orangey color, it comes with vitamin A. So let's not over demonize, palm oil. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about what you use. Even when you're eating fruits, you can overdo fruits, by the way. Remember, fruits also have carbohydrates. So if you overdo fruits, you end up, at the same level. I think this is dry, so we'll add the palm oil. Just a little bit, because the portion of soup I'm about to cook is pretty much. So we allow that to heat up, and then I'll go on to fry the onion. So we'll fry the onion. The oil is hot, so in goes the onion. Allowing the onion to fry and caramelize, which is brown it a bit, adds intensity to the dish. Sometimes you pour onion and you pour things, the flavor becomes different when you allow the onion to fry thoroughly and brown a bit on the edges, not burnt, but brown on the edges. So we allow that to fry, and then also in goes the garlic. Just actually about 1 teaspoon of garlic would do. I'm using fresh garlic. If you have dry garlic, you can use, but fresh garlic is what I find appropriate for this, so that it disintegrates, and the flavor is amazing here. I feel like scooping this and eating, but you know, yeah. So at this stage, I reduce the heat because I'll slowly add some water to this. But in the meantime, let me just allow this to fry a bit more. Okay, it's browned now. So like I said, you lower the heat and add your water gradually. You know, because with palm oil, you have to be extremely careful. Once the oil heats up, the last thing you want to do is to pour water straight in there. So you lower the heat, or sometimes take the pot off the fire, allow it to cool a little bit, add the water, and then you take off the heat again and allow this to boil. So we just wait for this to boil. It's coming up on the boil. But before then, I think we can actually go on to add our dry pepper. Of course, this one is to taste. I love pepper, you know, so you'll find me using a lot. Yes, some ginger, dry ginger or powdered ginger. I would say about half a teaspoon. Yeah. Some crayfish, about a tablespoon of crayfish. But remember, crayfish is not in the north. Like I said, this is my own twist to this dish. I add some seasoning cube, and I bring this to the boil. Now what I will do, which is optional as well, is I'm going to add a bit of dada, but a teeny weeny bit, because for me, I don't like too much of the strong flavor in it. So I'll just crush this into powder and add. You can see very little from my side, very little, just to blend it. It can actually disintegrate in the dish, but yeah. You know, sometimes what I do is that I grind this. If it's much, strain it a bit, because sometimes these things come with a lot of sand, you know, but I'm using very little. So I add the little one. It's all about layering of flavor. So we'll add the smoked fish. It's been washed, the gills removed, because the thing with fish is you have to be careful. Make sure the inside has been taken out, but you know, adding it whole, you can actually decide to get this into little pieces, but it's been washed, scrubbed properly with salt, and that's it. So the essence of this is just to allow some of the flavor of the sauce to get into the soup. I'll just allow that to cook a little bit. Remember, smoked fish is actually cooked, and this one is not the very dry one. So this gets into it. I'll take it out and then mix in the cooker. So let's just allow this to simmer there a bit, and then we'll come back. Okay, so we'll gently take out the fish. Like I said, you can actually leave this in pieces. You can shred it in pieces, but I like people to have their own piece of fish. So we take that out, and at this point I'll turn off the heat and allow this to cool a bit. Once it cools, I then go on to whisk this in, because if you do this while the liquid is boiling, then you have lumps all over the place. So this would cool slightly, let the bubbles go down, and I'll whisk this in. Okay, the water is, or the stock is fairly cool. So I'll add the cooker a little at a time and whisk. Like I said, it requires quick whisking so it does not go lumpy. If you ask me what quantity of kuka should I add, it then becomes difficult. But as you add, you would because once you put it back to boil, it then thickens. Yeah, I have the nice smooth consistency. It's not there's no lump at all, and that's because I had reduced the heat. I think that should do. What I actually used for this, about a cup of liquid, is about maybe 2 tablespoons of kuka. I can see that it's already thickened. I mean, once it gets back onto the fire, I don't need to cook for any length of time. So I'll return the fish before putting the fire back on. So there goes back the fish. But this is me, like I said. I mean, if you had pieces of fish, you might do the same thing. You might not even need to take out the fish, but it helps me to whisk properly. So put back all the goodness into the pot, and then we'll set the fire back on. Just for a minute or two, actually. Still on low heat, yes. On low heat. At this point, I just allow it to bubble, and that's it. So, I mean, I would say that this is the ogbono of the north. Look at that. It's just like ogbono. Maybe not as resilient as ogbono, but it gives you the viscosity again to guide the swallow gently through the esophagus to the tummy. And like I said, 2 minutes. I understand that generally our sisters in the north would cook their dishes 1 meal per time. I mean, there's nothing like reheating. So because also this takes such a short time, you don't really need to reheat. I understand sometimes that if you reheat this soup, it then gets slightly bitter. But for me, usually I cook it, I eat it, and that's it. I mean, that's it for you, and it's ready. I don't know how much time you were, checking, but trust me, 30 minutes or less, this soup is ready, and that's it. I'm going to be serving this with tuwo masara, and tuwo masara is basically cornmeal. But you can serve this with tuwo shinkafa, which is the mashed rice, so to speak, eba, pounded yam, semo. You can serve this with. So whatever your choice of swallow is, this is a soup, 30 minutes or less, and you have a meal on your hand. So let me go get my tuwo masara, and then we'll serve this up. So I'm just going to mold into shape, but it's up to you how you want to put it on the plate. The point with a swallow like tuwo masara is that it's healthy. This is corn, so in terms of glycemic index, it releases the carbohydrates slowly into the system, as opposed to pounded yam or eba, tuber-based, swallows. So that's the portion I'll use. Usually serve like this, and you have the soup kind of drizzled over it, like that. And then I have my protein. Get the fish, like that, and have it there. I mean, you can have as much soup as you want, and that's it. So I'll wash my hands and dig in as is normally done. I mean, that is it. Just like any swallow, it's pretty hot. Look, for me, I don't know. I mean, if I'm blindfolded, I'll think this is ogbono, except maybe for the slight difference in flavor and the fact that I'm perceiving some bit of ginger, some bit of garlic, and a tinge of the dada on the note, not overwhelming at all. So, tuwo, masara, and miyan kuka, easy to make. look, if you're looking for swallow in the evening, this works. I mean, either tuwo shinkafa or tuwo masara, you know, or any cereal of your choice with a Miyan Kuka. Have you subscribed yet? Please do subscribe and follow me on my journey on Instagram, Facebook, and recipes are there for you on my website. Until I come your way again with another episode, keep cooking and stay healthy.